Hi everyone, my name is Kirti Sharma, and I'm a certified public speaker, professional motivator, certified digital speaker, and subconscious mind communicator. Also, an educator, a proud educator for communication and business studies for a decade now. It's truly an honor for me today to be able to share with you some of the insights that is super close to my heart. Storytelling in communications. Well, audiences, I believe it's no more a secret that storytelling has literally become a part of our lives, right? Not only today, not only in our professions, or not only in our adulthood moments, but we are talking since we were babies, where during that time, stories used to excite us. Stories used to be part of us every single time before we go to bed, or even days later after that. We tend to grow up listening to stories around us, listening into the funny moments where, of course, if we look into that position, well, the excitement, that eagerness to know more, and of course, the most important part, the silly imaginations that we used to come up with it tends to be different. And I truly believe looking into that, wow, storytelling is not just about saying out words or even emotions. It's an art which can really send some kind of inspiration in the most touching manner. And most importantly, we are able to communicate our feelings, our emotions, or even what we think in a better way. As we know, people resonate a lot to stories. Well, audiences, we are not only just talking about casual conversations at this point, because we know, well, gossips possibly, as from what we could see, has always become the thing where people say, oh, that is when we tell stories. But let me tell you one thing. Storytelling nowadays is actually beyond from what we think it is. Recently, I have literally seen a lot of industries out there are incorporating storytelling in their professional life. As communicators, we tend to focus a lot in terms of storytelling at some point. Even for me personally, in my classroom, whenever I teach, I try to put in storytelling whenever possible so that it can create this excitement when we explain our theories, or even in the business that I am also building up right now, where the focus is also on education and training, focusing on professionals and even corporates. Well, they get excited with stories or even with games. Like I love using game based learning too, at this point, because we truly believe that learning should be fun, communicating should be fun, and most importantly, it should literally give up the message as per what we expect at this point. But let me tell you one thing. It literally made me excited to know that storytelling is nowadays also being used in researches, in data explanations, in data presentations. Or even recently, I have also encountered several doctors that I know who literally learned how to incorporate storytelling and incorporate empathy in their conversations with their patients. And that is truly fascinating because storytelling, as people used to think, is just like a game. It's just used to be some kind of a story with no base. But today, this has literally become something huge, something impactful, and something that even professionals are looking forward into in order to express their message confidently and effectively. Audiences, we truly understand that storytelling is not just again about saying what we want to say, but it's actually an art. It's a way for us to be able to literally look into the big picture, imagining it ourselves. And as a result, we also expect somebody else to also have the thought that we are having. And that's literally not easy. But looking into at least the way we are able to connect with our day to day lives, understanding people, looking into their needs, and at the same time, empathizing them. It's already one way for us to be able to build the connection that we like. But building connection doesn't happen only once, as we know. There are layers. The trust needs to be built. And I believe in order for us to trust someone, we should know the person. There should be something that inspires us to know more about them. There should be a trigger that can make us excited about something. And that's what I found in a lot of storytellers nowadays who literally try to explain something with empathy, with expressions, with feelings, without losing the essence of the communication itself, without exaggerating things, and just being genuine as they are. I believe we have seen Steve Jobs, the way when he always presented his products. Yes, the product was in his hand, that's for sure. But then, if we look into the way he communicated, it has always been focusing more into storytelling, experiences, the feel of it. And I truly believe that is something that will make a lot of difference. It is literally fascinating to know that communication today is not the same as how we used to think before. Even when I did my master's degree, I remember when I did this research on books, actually, which is pretty interesting because, as we know, that storytelling, like from what we have seen before, it has always been focusing a lot in terms of like spoken words. But from what we could see, even on text, we are able to do the same. And I really find it interesting on how we as communicators can actually explore many different ways to tell a story, whether it's unspoken words, as how we have always seen it, written words. And that's something that literally pulled my excitement when I did my master's degree that time. Seeing how linguistics, and even though we don't know the person, we can trust the author just by looking into the storyline that has been created into that. The power of words, the power of inspiration through the words being chosen. And nowadays, visual communication has also become the best, or I can say one of the best tools that we can use in order for us to communicate and share our stories. And one more thing, AI. Who can imagine that AI can also incorporate storytelling in there? That can also incorporate emotions, even though not as humans, but at least from what we have been seeing around us? Well, they do have emotions at some point. Well, maybe you can do an experiment. This is something that I have also tried previously, and it is something that literally made me shocked. I wouldn't lie. I was pretty surprised looking at that. I basically have made AI to act as someone that I truly loved. She was someone that has always been close to my heart. And I basically requested AI with the prompt by saying, "Hey, could you please become this person and act like this person?" Giving me a motivation that I can do better in life. And you know what the AI did? They literally given me a very long list, like a paragraph of explaining that, hey, I can understand your sorrow and grief. And from here, I will try and act as the person that you love and give you the motivation you need. I believe If that person is still there with you, she would be saying 1, 2, 3. You see, it is not just by saying that, oh, I think for you to get a motivation is 1, 2, 3. It's not just about words, it's about the emotions, the structure, the choice of words, the empathy that is being put into machine learning nowadays, which literally is going to become a huge breakthrough, not only in the future, but even the near time right now. We don't have to wait for years to come in order to experience this. We can already see the beauty of storytelling that is happening right now at this moment as we are speaking and even listening to this. Well, audiences, storytelling nowadays is again not just about telling some things casually or even gossips from what people used to say. Storytelling has, and even in a lot of researchers out there have mentioned that storytelling is an art that can literally elevate your communication in a way that it can inspire someone. It can touch someone's heart. And the best part of all, it can be used in most areas of the industries nowadays. Not only just about communication, not only just about public relations, not only marketing, but we are able to even resonate to this in the healthcare industry, in the machine learning, basically in the technology industries, or even you're talking about IT, right? Where possibly people are just behind their laptops, but still they are creating emotional magics out of it. Well, I believe that you too can make a difference through the story you make. Thank you so much.